Hello, friends, and welcome back to the Bikes or Death podcast presented by Old Man Mountain. As always, my name is Patrick, and I am your host. And on today's episode, I am talking with Jacob Ashton, who has accomplished a lot on a bicycle. Just to touch on some of his accomplishments, in 2016, he left his house in Idaho and set out on a world tour that would ultimately last 4 years. He would cover over 77,000 miles, visit 100 countries in 6 different continents. A major surgery cut that tour short and put it on pause for a little while, but he wasn't done. To date, he has accumulated over 120,000 miles, visited 108 countries, again, in 6 continents. He still has yet to visit Antarctica, but I think that might be on his bucket list. Needless to say, Jacob is an extremely experienced bike tourer at this point, but when he left his home in 2016, he was not an experienced bike tourer. He was a dreamer, he was a planner, but he had only gone on 1 or 2 overnighters prior to leaving on this epic adventure. He's not only an accomplished bike tourer, but more recently, he started to dabble in bike ultras and bike packing events. He's competed in the Tour Divide, Arizona Trail, and Colorado Trail. And he is also only the second person to ever completed the Orogenesis route. If you listen to the episode I did with Kurt Refsnyder earlier this year, you'll hear us reference Jacob on that podcast. So now we get to hear from Jacob himself. And most recently, Jacob and I both competed in Doom. He did the long version and I did the high watch, which was about 200 miles. And after he came in 7th place at Doom, he rode 400 miles on his Starling Murmur, which is a full suspension mountain bike, from Arkansas to Point Blank, Texas, which is the start and finish line of East Texas Showdown, where he had a couple days off before lining up to compete in the 400-mile distance. And even though he was not on the right bike for that terrain, it is heavily a gravel ultra, he still came in a very respectable 6th place overall, and he averaged a incredible 15 mile an hour moving speed. So he was really boogieing on that full suspension bike. And then after East Texas Showdown, he just happened to have a friend that lived in my hometown and he was riding over here. So a couple days after East Texas, I took the opportunity to sit down with Jacob Ashton, learn more about his bike tours. We dived into Doom. I shared a little bit about my experience as well. And of course, we wrap up with the East Texas Showdown. That's what we have in today's episode. But before we get into it, let's take a moment to thank the people that made it possible, starting with our latest batch of patrons. This week, we'd like to thank David Leibel, Tomas Perez, Andrew Humes, and Robert Keller for signing up to be sustaining members of the Bikes or Death podcast. If you appreciate this work and you would like to see these episodes keep promulgating your podcasting feed, show us some love over at patreon.com/bikes or death. Today's episode is also brought to us by our presenting sponsor, Old Man Mountain. And if you are going to be at Sea Otter this weekend, do not miss the Old Man Mountain bike packing campout and after party. They have nightly entertainment, guest speakers, talks, films, food, fun, prizes. They got it all. And I'm going to be there as well. I would love to meet up with you. For more details about the Old Man Mountain bikepacking campout and after party happening this weekend at Sea Otter, make sure to check out my show notes. And a quick reminder that the 2nd annual Ride Your Damn Bike Festival is taking place again in Fayetteville, Arkansas, and it's coming up May 22nd through the 24th. Again, this year, I will be leading a beginner-friendly, lightly supported bikepacking campout on the Lake Weddington Loop, which is a popular bikepacking route that was developed by Bikepacking Routes. And we have 2 options. We have one that's a gravel and pavement only option, and then we have an option for people who want to throw some single track in the mix. So if you would like to join me on that, I've got a discount code for you. For 20% off registration, use the code BikesForDeath_RYDB_26. And of course, you can find a link for registration and that code in my show notes. All right, ching, 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 ching. The bills have been paid, and now it is time to get to my chat with Jacob Ashton. But first, let's have my friend Miles Arbor kick it off with the Bikes for Death theme song.
You load up your bike, you ride away from home. You could be with your friends or you could be alone. You ride for a day or maybe more. You just love being in the great outdoors. Everything you need is strapped to your bars, including that new pillow you got from Santa Claus. And then you think, oh shit, to yourself. You left that super lightweight tent on the living room shelf. Bikes for death. Bikes for death. Podcast.
Jacob Ashton, how you doing?
Doing great.
Great.
How about you?
I'm doing well, man. Have you listened to podcasts before?
Yeah, I've listened to a few of them.
Yeah.
Not quite at every one, but doing pretty well.
Did you listen to Kurt Refsnyder one?
Yes.
Yeah. So, did you?
Yeah.
Well, you weren't still out on the trail whenever you did the Kurt Refsnyder one, were you?
No, that was after I finished in early November.
Yeah. So you finished in November.
Yeah.
And I think I had him on either January or February. So he come on somewhat close to whenever you were. Oh, who's our friend here?
We got Chloe.
Chloe.
This little pug bulldog mix, maybe?
Yeah, I don't know. Pug.
I'm not sure.
I know she's cute. And I'm going to take you home with me to replace the dog that I just gave away at East Texas Showdown. So how are you feeling?
Pretty good. Yeah. We're 4 or 5 days after East Texas Showdown.
Today is
finished
Thursday,
on Saturday. Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess you're 5 days out.
Yeah. So.
I got here. Yeah. The event ended on Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
Technically on Monday morning when Michael Heath finished DFL.
Nice.
Which was really cool. Yeah. So how you feeling?
Pretty good. Still got the fatigue. I ended up riding over here from Point Blank, like 70-ish miles on Monday.
Yeah.
My legs were incredibly sore. Maybe the most pain I've had in my legs in a very long time.
Yeah.
And, super relaxed. It was actually a nice cruise over.
You rode 21 the whole way here, I'm guessing.
Or 30 maybe. Something like that.
Yeah, 30.
Yeah.
You only have to turn like twice.
Yeah.
You like turn out the bullet, take a left on the road, and take it all the way to Bryan College Station and take whatever turn to get here. Yeah, so this worked out pretty well.
Very.
You just, if I got this right, you live in Idaho. You flew in with your bike to Doom, competed in Doom, then rode your bike to Point Blank to the start line of East Texas Showdown, and then just coincidentally, we're here in Bryan College Station where one of your longtime like childhood friends lives.
Yeah.
And so now we get to record a podcast and talk.
Yeah, sounds about right.
Yeah. Pretty cool. And I was hoping, I was like, I wonder if he's going to wear the East Texas shirt or the Doom shirt.
Oh, I didn't get one of the East Texas ones. No.
Okay. Well,
we ran out.
we have more coming.
Oh, right.
Yeah. For anyone who's worried, internet, we are, I'm going to send out an email probably tomorrow and get some more out to everybody because, the shirts were really cool this year. But I thought what would be my Doom shirt was completely ruined. I mean, like dirty. And this one's only a little bit dirty. So I was like, I'm going to wear this one and maybe Jacob will wear his Doom one.
It's the only t-shirt I have with me right now. So
yeah,
it's the default.
Yeah, so cool, man. We both competed in Doom, and we both participated at East Texas Showdown in different capacities. So, I mean, that's kind of like...
I think your race was harder.
My race was harder?
Well, you're still going.
What do you
East
mean?
Texas Showdown?
Huh?
East Texas Showdown? You're still going. I'm done.
Oh, like my personal race. Oh, I thought you meant like my... No. East Texas Showdown was harder than Doom, and I was like, hold on.
No, I meant to versus actually riding the event.
Yeah. I do find race directing more challenging than racing, and it just comes down to the mental side of it that is wears you down. Because when you ride your bike, your bike packing math is so simplified. What's my next resupply? How many carbs do I need? How much fluid, whatever. Right. So like, it's funny. I was on the way over here. I had to get gas, and the gas station attendant is the first person I've talked to in a couple of days. And I like listen to my voice. I'm like, oh yeah, my voice is still recovering from the East Texas Showdown.
Sounding a lot better than you were. You're getting pretty hoarse there by the end.
Yeah. Yeah, it's normal. I'm an idiot. I'm always yelling into the microphone, and
that's fun.
I can't help. Yeah, I love it. I don't know. It's funny. Like
I enjoyed it.
I think I'm a pretty like calm person, but for some reason, if you put like a fucking megaphone in my hand, I turn into a maniac. And I didn't know that about myself until I got a megaphone for the first time, and I'm like, oh, okay, that's just my megaphone persona.
Well, the energy made it fun. Yeah. Everybody appreciated it.
Yeah, it is fun, man. I think so. I also think it can be kind of, I don't know if off-putting is the right word, but I always think about how funny it is that you just finished riding hundreds of miles, and you've been alone, and it's maybe dark, and you've been quiet in solitude for so long, and then all of a sudden you have a guy, right in your face. It's like got to be such a, an abrupt change.
Well, it's the finish line. Been looking forward to it for a while.
Yeah,
it's nice to have people there.
I think so. I mean, that's part of the, part of the goals with the Showdown series in particular is to have that finish line and have the community gathering spots so everybody can hang out and share stories. And it just works out so well at the Bullet Grill, man. That one in particular is just set up so well. And actually the other ones too, the model works so well that we just copy and paste to the other events and it seems to be working.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Hoping to make it to the other one sometime. We'll see.
Yeah, I would love to have you. I was going to ask you if you're thinking at all about the triple star this year, but I'm guessing not based on the way you just answered that.
No, I got some plans for touring and stuff. So another time.
Well, let's get to know you a little bit. I was telling you at East Texas when we were talking about doing this podcast that like one of the most challenging things about interviewing people who have accomplished and done so many things is like, how in the world do you, chop that up into a ingestible 2-hour podcast or whatever? But so we'll focus mostly on Doom and East Texas. Those are the two things that are the most recent. But I took this clip off your Instagram profile. You're like, it says, after 9 years of cycling between 2016 to 2025, I've completed a very cumulative it's
a hard word.
Well, and also I'm still struggling mentally. I haven't slept much since ETS or during ETS, so like, yeah, bear with me. Cumulative crossing of every inhabited continent, 108 countries cycled, 110,000 miles, 110 miles covered, 110,000 miles covered. I think that's just kind of a good, clip it way to like introduce at least some of the breadth of like your experience that you've, dude, I am going to struggle. Accumulated over at least the last 9 years. I guess my first question is like, did you start cycling 9 years ago, or have you been in the cycling, world for a long time? Like, what was your kind of entry point into, especially kind of maybe this like more touring, longer distance stuff?
Yeah, I actually started out with road racing and stuff. Started trying to be good at riding bikes around 12 years old-ish, kind of doing it for a hobby. So got going pretty early with that. And did some races. I got to compete nationally a couple of years in time trial and road race, but never did particularly well.
And were you competing on a pro team or
no,
privateer team?
Yeah, just a private. Yeah. Yeah, so.
And what age did you start road racing?
I was doing some of those like 13, 14, 15.
Oh,
yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, nothing big. Just
grew up in California?
I was born in California, and then my family moved out to like Idaho, Washington area. So, yeah, Lewiston, Clarkston. So,
So where did you go from there in your cycling, quote unquote, career?
So did the road racing for quite a while, and then was hoping to race at a higher level, but just didn't quite have the genetics, not quite the build either. Being 6'6" and a pretty big guy isn't quite ideal for road racing. But still had fun with it. So ended up working for a while after that, and then kind of just had the goal of getting out and traveling at some point. Wasn't quite sure how that would look, and then I don't know, like many people, just kind of discovered bike touring at some point, or the concept of that, and then started doing a few weekend trips here and there, and then had some money saved, and a couple of months after I turned 24, ended up leaving on the big world tour. And when I started that, my longest ride was right at about 3 days. So
in 2016, you were 24 years old.
Yeah, so 34.
Oh, you're 34 years old?
34 right now.
Oh, yeah. You're 34 right now. Gotcha.
Yeah, so just kind of started from went straight from weekend trips to being gone for most of the following 4 years.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
What did you say your longest was to date before the 9-year trip?
Yeah, about 3 days, 2 or 3 days.
Oh, wow.
2 nights, 3 days.
Wow.
Yeah.
What were your goals of the trip? Like, how did you decide like where you wanted to start? Did you just like fly somewhere and say, I'll figure it out from here? Like,
I actually left from my parents' house in Idaho. At the time they lived in the Boise area. And it just kind of started from, I want to cycle the Pan American. So like across the length of North and South America. And then, well, what about going to Europe? What about going to Africa? What about crossing Asia and Australia?
Yeah.
So just kind of started going and had the plan of being out for a long time. My original guess was about 4.5 to 7 years. And so started in the 2016 and then ended up taking an extended break around 2020 just because international travel shut down. But within those 4 years, managed about 100 countries and 78,000 miles of touring. So,
what was it? Were you scared to embark on that?
Oh yeah. Yeah, definitely. I remember I spent about the first month cycling across the U.S., getting down to the border of Mexico and crossed at Juarez and El Paso, other side of Texas. And heard all the horror stories like, oh, don't go to Mexico. The cartel's going to find you. They're going to send parts of your body back to your family until you pay ransom.
Yeah.
And was definitely concerned about that. But people ended up just being really friendly. So didn't really have any major problems with people like that.
Do you have any minor problems?
Minor problems here and there. Most of the time it was pretty good. I had a couple. North and South America went pretty well. Europe went pretty smoothly. In Africa, I ended up starting in Egypt and cycling around, cycling Cape Town to Cairo. And happened, had an incident coming in, ended up flying from Greece to Egypt, and they completely lost my bike and all my stuff on the flight, and waited around for close to a week for it to show up, and then just kind of assumed it had been stolen. Airline wasn't returning my calls anymore. It's like walking around Cairo trying to find a bike, and ended up walking through a bad area and got picked up by the local police.
Oh, okay.
And
police.
Ended up being just kind of walking down the streets in Cairo, and this guy just like randomly grabs my arm. And it's hot, over 100 degrees. I was there in like July or August or something, so I'm sweating. So just like twist away and keep walking, pretend nothing happened. Grabs my arm again and says in English, like, "Hey, stop!" Like, okay, so I stop and talk to him. He's like, "I'm police." Like, does not look at all like a policeman, just dressed in plain clothes like everybody else is. and shows me a gun. Like, yeah, I'm a police. I have a gun. Like, okay. And shows me a badge. And then this van pulls up. He's like, okay, get in the van. Like, no, thanks. Like, oh no, we're police. We need to talk. And they'll like show me their guns and badges. Like, okay, I guess I don't have a choice. And end up talking to me for a while. Like, who are you? What are you doing here? Like, oh, just out on a bike trip trying to find a new bike. The airline lost all my stuff. Like, why are you here? Like, are you a spy? Are you like, you're an American? Are you a spy? Are you in the CIA? And like, no, not a spy, not in the CIA.
I've heard this so much interviewing other people that travel internationally.
Yeah, it does happen. It doesn't happen very often.
They just can't make sense of it, right?
Yeah.
Like, what is this guy doing? Or girl?
2 or 3 times over the course of every time I was out. And then they ended up just like driving around for a while and then dropped me off at a subway station. And one of the officers accompanied me back to where I was staying and then left me alone after that.
Did you ever find out if they were really Policia?
Probably were. They had the guns and the badges.
But you said this was in Egypt, though.
Yeah.
So not
police,
Policia there, whatever they are over there.
Yeah. Egyptian FBI or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, they left me alone after that. And ended up getting held at gunpoint a few times here and there. Actually, also in Egypt. From Cairo, I was going over to try to go to Jordan and Israel, so ended up crossing the Sinai Peninsula, which wasn't advised, and got in a lot of arguments with the police on trying to cycle there. They wanted to put me in a car. Just kind of stayed calm, like, oh no, I want to ride my bike. And eventually they'd give up and let me ride.
Yeah.
But got into like one of the small towns after they'd given up on following me, and was looking around for grocery store or restaurant or something, and like, oh, police station. I'll just go ask for directions and like go right up the little hill to the police station. Some guy runs out with a gun at me, like, stop, what are you doing? Like, put my hands up.
Right in front of a police station. That's ballsy.
Yeah. And well, it was one of the policemen.
Oh.
It was one of the policemen. He's like,
never mind.
Like, is there a restaurant eating? Like, oh yeah, right there. Like, oh, sorry, we thought you were a terrorist. We've had people suicide bombers.
Oh my God.
So considering the circumstance, not completely unwarranted response, but
yeah.
A little bit tense for a bit, but no, after that, they just waved me off, went and got food. No problem.
Although you might not have had much of an appetite for a moment or two after that.
Yeah, I had to wait to calm down for a bit.
Yeah, let the nerves settle a little bit.
Sit on the curb, drink a juice or something.
Wow. No incidences in Latin America, though.
No, Latin America is pretty smooth. I think being a big, tall, scary person is very helpful in discouraging people from robbing or other kind of attacks.
It's so funny. I was actually going to ask you that same question next. You're 6'6", I'm 6'2", not quite as big in stature, but I do feel like I'm less of a target. I have to think like you are much less of a target than some, because you could probably take out 2 or 3 of them, or at least manage 2 or 3 at a time.
No, try to just use the voice.
For sure, yeah, absolutely.
Don't want to resort to violence.
What I'm saying though is like if they're like looking at approaching you in their mind, they're doing the math and they're saying not to say you would be violent. Absolutely not.
No,
unless you had to.
No, luckily it hasn't come to that. So fingers crossed it stays that way.
Yeah. When you said you were, you had fears going into like this big trip, were these the types of things that you were afraid of, or what were the unknowns that were kind of causing concern?
Everything. I kind of just jumped right into it. So I didn't have any experience with it. So like wild camping or stuff in different countries, got to figure that out, like finding food, even like buying food in a grocery store or a supermarket where you don't speak the language.
Oh, yeah.
When I got to Mexico, I'd taken a little bit of Spanish growing up, but really never practiced anything. Knew the numbers for like 1 to 10, please and thank you. And since I didn't know the numbers past 10, I learned how to ask how much something was.
¿Cuánto cuesta?
Yeah, ¿cuánto cuesta? And since I didn't know the numbers past 10, I also learned how to ask, can you write that down for me? Since I didn't know the numbers.
Escribar?
Escriban or something like that.
Yeah.
Make a little writing motion.
I'm on day 250 of Duolingo, so that's about the extent
good job.
of my span. But I'm trying.
Yeah. So now I ended up getting pretty conversational after ended up being about a year in Latin America. So kind of just living in Spanish and just picking it up.
Oh, I love that.
I never actually studied, so my grammar is still horrendous, but could understand, and no practice for a long time. So it's definitely getting pretty rusty.
What other languages have you kind of piecemealed a little bit together?
I picked up Portuguese. That was very similar to Spanish. In a way, it's just kind of like a really, really heavy accent to Spanish.
Okay.
Almost mutually intelligible, or
unintelligible.
Mutually intelligible. They can almost understand each other in their own languages. So picked up Portuguese in Brazil pretty fast. A little bit of French in Africa and Europe. And then I took Mandarin Chinese for a year in college, and got to spend a little over 2 months in China at this point. So that was surprisingly helpful. And
so you did language, and then you had some immersion to kind of back it up.
No, picked up a lot really, really fast, just reading and kind of hearing it all the time.
That's impressive, because it's obviously harder to learn Mandarin and Cantonese.
Yeah, having the university teaching with that was really helpful.
Mm-hmm.
That really made a big difference, because on my own, I don't know that I would have made very much progress.
Yeah. So was there a reason that you didn't, I don't know, spend more time preparing for the trip, like, doing some wild camping? Like, I mean, maybe you wanted the more adventurous approach. Like, what was the thought behind that?
I was kind of had a contract with work that was finishing up, and so kind of finished up at my job and just had the time, had the money saved, and didn't have any commitments at that time. So in a way, it just kind of made sense to go for it.
Yeah, that is so cool. Is it something you'd been dreaming about for a while?
Yeah.
So when the opportunity presented itself, it was like easy to jump into?
Yeah, I'd been in the planning stages for a couple of years at that point.
Okay.
While I was working and saving.
So what did your plan look like? It was like, okay, I'm going to be gone 4 to 7 years. Did you know where you wanted to go? Or was it like, I'm going to start here and then just see?
I had a pretty good outline. It changed a lot. I stuck with it for most of the first year, because the basic thing was just starting in Idaho and riding down to the end of South America.
Mm-hmm.
Ended up riding back up to Brazil and catching a cruise ship. Actually, I had booked 8 months in advance.
Oh, wow.
I was in Peru still when I paid the money for the cruise, and made it to Brazil, and was able to take the cruise across the Atlantic to Italy, and didn't know if at the time I booked it, it was double occupancies, and actually one of my grandmas ended up being able to come out, so got to spend some time with her.
Oh, cool.
Take the cruise across the Atlantic.
Did she just cruise back whenever?
She ended up meeting more family to travel around Europe, and then just flying home.
This maybe doesn't matter, but just out of curiosity, you got to Brazil 8 months before.
I booked the cruise 8 months beforehand. I was in Peru at the time.
Okay.
And still southbound, so over close to 10,000 miles of cycling in between when I booked it and when I actually got on the boat.
Were you just biding your time until it left?
I had the plan of going all the way to Ushuaia, and then kind of planned it around how long I expected that to take, the distance, and that kind of thing. So I'd have mileage plans for each day. But
you just figured that's about when.
Yeah. And then ended up coming up a little bit earlier, or getting close a little bit earlier than planned. So took a few days off here and there. Managed to make it to Iguazu Falls, one of the highest volume waterfall in the world, I think.
Oh, is that close to Ushuaia, or is that up in Brazil?
No, that's up right at the border of Argentina, Brazil, and I think Paraguay as well. They all come together and meet at the waterfall.
Okay.
So,
did you make it to Ushuaia?
Yes. Yeah, I made it all the way to the
penguins?
End. Yes, got to see the penguins. Yeah, that was big. I was really excited about that. Penguins are one of my favorite animals. So
yeah. Hey, really Natalie, cool. Did you know that they had penguins in Ushuaia? That's an inside joke.
All right. Yeah, so really excited to see those. That was fun.
That's still on my bucket list.
Nice. Yeah.
I'm in love with Latin America, as most people who listen to this podcast will know. I always have to ask, where has been your favorite place in Latin America in particular to tour through?
Probably Peru and Bolivia. Yeah.
Peru's at the top of my list, man.
Yeah. No.
It's really tall though. How are those mountain passes?
They're pretty serious. Yeah. I think that was one of the highest. That was the highest I'd been on the bike for a long while. That was 16,500 feet over one of those passes in the Huascarán circuit up by Khorog in Peru.
But those roads, man.
Oh, yeah.
Some of the most
they're
picturesque.
Crazy. Yeah, there's one. I have a picture that's one of my favorite pictures from the trip. It's just kind of at this, near the top of this pass, just kind of looking down. You could see like 6 or 8 hairpin bends going all the way down on this dirt road. Got the mountains and glaciers in the background. Like really crazy blue lakes down in the valley below.
Getting goosebumps.
Yeah.
That's what I'm into.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, where's your favorite place for you that you've toured so far?
Favorites are hard.
I'm sure you get that question all the time.
Yeah, that's a popular one. Big fan of mountains and deserts. So Peru is definitely up there. And then Nepal was really cool. Just the scale of the mountains out there is insane. It's kind of going to see the Andes or something like that. And a lot of the mountains are 50% taller.
Wow.
So, yeah, there's a couple places in Pokhara in Nepal, or on a good day, you can see Annapurna. So, over 8,000 meter peak, 27,000 feet tall. That's standing down at like 2,000 feet in elevation.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. Yeah. If you didn't know, you'd think they were clouds or something.
Like the top of the peak where the snow is clouds.
Yeah. That's happened before. Of like when I was in Peru, actually riding up to the pass I was just talking about, was kind of picking my way up a dirt road, kind of out of breath, rough road. Bike has too much stuff on it. And then I look up like, whoa, those clouds are really pointy. Like, oh, those are mountains.
Yeah, those are some really weird pointy clouds. I've never seen that before. Yeah.
All blue and different colors. Like, oh, shoot.
That's so cool, man. I bet you also got the thing where you're like above the clouds in the mountains.
Yeah.
Which is always
sometimes too.
Surreal experience to be like that high up.
Yeah. Definitely.
Okay, so Nepal.
Yeah, Nepal is up there.
What's on your 108 countries?
Yeah, about that. Depends on how you count.
Where are you itching to still get to, or is there places that you're like, I can't wait to go back there?
Yeah, mostly focusing on new places. I'm actually planning a tour right now. Probably flying to Japan in about a month.
Okay.
So plan is to cycle around Japan, take the ferry to South Korea, another ferry to China, and hopefully go to Mongolia. Really excited about that. Heard a lot of good things about Mongolia. So,
what have you heard? I actually haven't heard a lot about Mongolia other than like the history there.
It's one of the least densely populated countries in the world, if not the least. I think something like, I don't know the exact numbers, 800,000 people are the entire country, but 90% of that population lives in the capital.
Okay.
So it's supposed to be quite easy to get out there and not travel on the dirt roads through the mountains and the steppes and not see anybody for multiple days.
Well, that's a good question. When you're touring, what kind of touring are you seeking? The more like, because you could do more of a dirt tour. You could try to hit the main cities or the pueblos or...
Yeah. Most of my touring, I'd say, for going into the bike touring argument, I leaned more towards bike touring, I guess. I do enjoy riding the dirt roads and stuff and doing all that when I can, but in a lot of places it's just really hard to do that. Right. And like one good example would be in India. Ended up spending most of 7 months cycling around India on my last big tour. And a lot of that's just on pavement because there's not really any other options. So it's as much the riding as it is the cultural experience.
Yeah.
Meeting the people, trying the foods and stuff.
I think so, yeah.
And in a lot of places, there aren't really the developed routes in the same way. So just kind of doing my own stuff, figuring out what goes where. And I've had trouble just going in and saying, exploring, like, oh, I'm just going to go up that road and see if I can make it through, kind of thing. I kind of want to have a
better plan.
A reasonable expectation that I'm going to be able to get through.
Yeah. And, fair enough. I mean, I want that in the States. There's at least in Texas, I run into private land all the time. Yeah. It's like you can make a route that looks so good on paper, but you're going to run into so much private land. Yeah. It could really F up your ride, Yeah,
I ran into that a little bit coming over here. So, most of the time it was pretty good.
I'm not surprised.
Yeah.
Are you on the same touring bike that you started with? And,
no.
And if not, what did you start with and what are you on right now?
I actually started on a recumbent bike. I had a bunch of back problems and stuff. And the recumbent was just super comfortable and really fun to ride. Like your traditional 4-pannier setup is what I started out on, carrying too much stuff. And that bike actually broke. Cracked the frame and had to replace that and buy a new bike in Chile, actually in Santiago. Ended up buying a new bike there. That one...
Another recumbent or?
Just a normal bike after that. Yeah, the recumbent's really fun. Didn't like the attention, all the extra attention from that.
Yeah.
From that bike. It's kind of... in a way, it's like being a celebrity. It's like people flocking around to come see the bike. Mm-hmm. And I tend to be a little bit more introverted, so not really a fan of all the attention stuff there. So switching to a normal bike was actually really nice because it was kind of all of a sudden anonymous, and I could just ride through a city and nobody's
just another guy
yelling at me or running up to take pictures or videoing me from their phones in the same way. Yeah. And that still happens in some countries, but that's more of being the crazy foreigner on the bike rather than just being somebody riding around.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So, I was on that bike for another 10,000 or so miles. Then that was the one that got lost flying over to Egypt. And then bought the other bike there. That bike was terrible. And ended up taking an unexpected break to go home and get a new bike. And then, because I'd lost all my camping gear and stuff too. And didn't have my water filter, so I ended up crossing from Egypt, rode that bike all the way to Ethiopia and Addis Ababa, the capital there. So good 6,000 miles or so. And had like a equivalent of a Walmart tent and sleeping bag.
Yeah.
The tent would completely soak through if it rained, but luckily it was in the Sahara a lot of the time. So.
Blocks the wind.
Yeah.
And the dust.
Yeah. And so rain wasn't a problem too often. And when it was raining, hotels were pretty cheap. So didn't have my water filter, ended up getting super sick. Getting water out there in Sudan, they just had like these shelters and stuff with water, kind of like bus stops. And they just have these clay pots filled up with water. Oh. And like, oh, water, and just like drink the water from there, and it turns out it comes straight from the Nile. And sanitation is not superb out there. So
to say it,
it's all
loudly.
It's all downriver from Khartoum, the capital, a bunch of other places. Mm-hmm. So just got ridiculously sick. It was also 110, 115 degrees at the time. So I actually had one day where I was just asked to camp in a mosque, and like, oh yeah, no problem. So I set up my tent and just got super, super sick overnight. It's like running out of my tent to go run off to poop in a hole somewhere. And could barely walk from like dehydration and stuff by the morning, just like laying in the shade of the mosque and all day long, having the problems and all that. And then one of the guys like, you're very sick. We will take you to a hospital.
Oh, that's nice.
So actually, he was very, one of the silly things I've done is riding everything. So it was like, oh, I need to ride. So avoiding
like riding to the hospital?
Riding to the hospital.
No.
So avoiding hitchhiking and that. So ended up peeling sickly body off the ground, off the sand or whatever, concrete outside the mosque. And it was only like a mile or two, but was able to ride myself to the hospital, and they helped me get in and got an IV going and some medicine. Ended up feeling better almost immediately.
Why be so stringent about,
It was a personal challenge.
Okay.
So kind of like the thing of you mentioned starting out of cumulatively crossing every continent.
Mm-hmm.
Just as a personal challenge was cycling everything and not hitchhiking.
Okay, so no hitchhiking.
Yeah.
I assume like you took the boat over, so also like
so
taking public transportation, like I guess ride everything you can, but you would just take like a boat in between or something.
So like crossing the oceans, I was hoping to be able to take boats, but flying is a lot easier and cheaper. Cruises are expensive most of the time. So with the cumulative crossing of the continents, that was more along the lines of just trying to cycle everything from one end of the continent to the other. So like from Idaho to Ushuaia, there are a handful of ferries in between, and then ended up taking a sailboat to go around the Darien Gap.
I was about to ask what you did
from
there,
Panama to Colombia. And but apart from that, everything was cycling, no hitchhiking. The couple times I've had to pick up and leave off, I've been able to come back and like reconnect my route.
Yeah, so you're really trying to stay pure to like kind of the solo self-supported, almost bikepacking ethos of like, okay, if you get off route, you go exactly where you started and pick up from there.
Yeah, the route is very flexible though. So, but I've had a couple times, a couple parts where I've ended up going home or other problems, medical problems here and there, where I also ended up going home to recover. And that was kind of the thing with the cumulative crossing of Asia. That one was not completed in the first section of the tour. I ended up having an emergency surgery in Tajikistan. I think I ended up showing off the scar from that one.
Yeah, I saw the scar. It's pretty gnarly. I didn't know if you were open to talking about it, but I know it comes into play with like I was reading about with your Doom. You were having some back problems, so are you open to talking about like?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So I ended up having an emergency appendectomy, appendix surgery in South Africa, and that was just kind of staying at a warm showers host, and just got sick one day. So I was kind of laying in bed hoping I'd feel better, and then all the pain just kind of localized over to that lower right side of my abdomen where the appendix is. Mm-hmm. Like, oh shoot, better go to a hospital
fast.
Yeah.
And what year was this real quick?
Be early 2018, I think.
Okay, so okay.
Yeah, so I ended up going to the hospital, and they're like, I think I need an appendectomy. I think I need my appendix out. Like, oh, probably not. Got the MRI and all that stuff. Like, yes, you're going in for surgery.
Okay.
And got that taken care of. Actually didn't have medical insurance or anything, so had to pay out of pocket out for that. And by American standards, it was relatively affordable. It was about a little less than $7,000, I think. But on the bike touring budget, that was a whole year of travel expenses.
Yeah.
So from that one, I'd just finished Cairo to Cape Town. I was planning to ride up West Africa at that time, but kind of with all the money I burned through on that, and West Africa was a little bit extra unstable, so decided to fly up to Morocco and ended up cycling all across Europe.
So you didn't go home, you stayed?
No, for that one was just the little scar, like 2 or 3 inches. Okay. That one was an easy one. The recovery was still going. The recovery was about a week on that one. And so I was just able to take a few days off and kind of get back on the bike probably sooner than I should have.
Yeah.
But about a little over a year later, I was in Tajikistan on the Pamir Highway. And quite luckily in the town of Khorog, like the only major population center for a couple hundred miles around. And just got ridiculously sick, like throwing up nonstop for a couple days. Went to the hospital. It was an old Soviet hospital. It didn't have an MRI. So ended up just getting an X-ray. And even on the X-ray, they could say like, oh yeah, that's a bowel obstruction. Your small intestine or whatever has been completely blocked off. We need to operate like right now.
Well, Well, okay. I don't know about how all this stuff works, but wouldn't you have been going to the bathroom for a year? So it couldn't have been like completely blocked.
No, it was a gradual over time. So
it got to the point, like gradually got more and more blocked to the
gradually
point where it became fully
to where
blocked.
everything just kind of cut off.
Gotcha.
Of like maybe foods that get digested fully can pass through without a problem, but you eat a little too many vegetables, ironically, it gets stuck. Something that forms more bulk in the intestine.
Okay, yeah.
So the way it happened, it was going to happen eventually, and quite fortunately, it happened in the best possible place it could have relative to being in Tajikistan.
Okay.
So I was able to go more or less directly into surgery for that. And I survived, which is about the best I can say on that one. Medical care wasn't superb, but in reality, the problem I'm about to say can happen anywhere.
Okay.
I had anesthesia awareness, which is what? Yeah, I was conscious for about a good part of the surgery.
Oh my God, when they're cutting you up.
Yeah.
Oh
yeah. So yeah, that was nasty.
No.
Yeah, that was a weird, really trippy experience because I was kind of coming out of the anesthesia kind of slowly. And at first I thought I was dead. I was like, oh, I'm in purgatory or something like that.
Like you're seeing like your body and you're like,
no, my face was covered up with a sheet or something.
Okay.
So just kind of seeing like a muted sunset colors or something. I like couldn't tell if I was breathing or not. And it turns out I was actually intubated, had the whole tubes and stuff system down my throat. And they had the breath machine going. They were breathing for me. And like, oh, I can feel my chest rising and falling. Like, ew, what's that? I feel some pulling on my stomach and starting to see shadows and stuff as I get more in focus. And I also had an epidural in, so I was completely paralyzed. So they didn't know I was awake either.
Oh my God.
And I could kind of see like shadow puppet of the surgery going on. And couldn't move, couldn't do anything. And I was still pretty out of it and on heavy drugs and stuff. So it wasn't like panicking or anything like that. But I could feel them stitching it back up and pulling the sheet off and pulling all the tubes out and stuff. And gradually became more and more conscious after that. That one was intense.
Yeah, y'all should see the scar. I mean, it's like a S on his, like from
wraps around the belly button, like
all the way up to your
7 or 8,
right? Almost.
Up, pretty close.
Below your sternum.
Yeah, and was in the hospital for 10 days. Could see Afghanistan out my hospital window, and on all sorts of drugs, like the Russian synthetic morphine and all that stuff.
Was there any chance that you might not have pulled through that?
Not that I know of.
Okay.
I don't think there are any other complications in the surgery. Just kind of a unfortunate complication of being awake.
Yeah, no, that is unfortunate.
So, no, got released from the hospital after 10 days. That one, they actually apologized for it being so expensive, and it was $550.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Which might still sound expensive if you live in Europe, but
if you live here, that's you
nothing.
Pay that just to walk into a doctor's office over here.
No, definitely. Yeah, so that was the food, the medical care, and everything.
Wow.
For the whole 10-day hospital stay.
So how long after that were you able to get back and start touring again?
That one I ended up going home to recover, and that was a bit of a mess in itself. It was actually pretty low place mentally, unsurprisingly.
Yeah.
After that experience, like, man, do I really want to keep going through this? Is it worth the trouble? What if it happens again? That kind of thing. And by the time I got out of the hospital, like, nope, definitely coming back, definitely going to continue doing this.
Right.
I'd actually texted one of the guys I'd been cycling with, Ollie. I messaged him like, man, I think I'm done. I think I'm going to call it, go home and be done. And then he saw my post later. I was like, oh, I thought you were going to quit. I'm like, no, I changed my mind.
That's awesome.
So, yeah. So
was there anything that like turned your mind, or was it just kind of coming out of the fog of that fucked up experience?
Yeah, it was more coming out of the fog of the experience. And then like that one wasn't quite as big of a hit to my savings, only about a month's worth of travel expenses for that one. apart from the flights and stuff, I ended up flying home to Idaho to recover. Stayed with my parents for most of 3 months after the surgery to recover from that. And then decided to restart riding from Idaho. So did the rest of the Pan American up to Alaska.
Oh, cool.
Ended up flying to New Zealand, cycling across Australia. And I was supposed to cross China in March of 2020.
Oh.
But that didn't work.
I think I know why.
Yeah. Take a guess.
Yeah.
But ended up flying home pretty quickly once the borders were shutting down. I was probably 2 or 3 days before they started doing actual quarantines for people and stuff coming in. So good timing on that part. And I was basically out of savings at that point anyway. So had to figure out a way to have an income again.
Yeah. That's what I wanted to touch on, is it seems to me that you are living a very intentional lifestyle in a way that helps to facilitate, your ability to go do all these things we're talking about.
Yeah.
You don't have a car, right?
I've never actually owned a car.
Never owned a car.
Yeah.
I was reading your Baja, I think it was your Baja Divide post, or maybe it was your
cool.
Orogenesis post, one of them, but you totaled up how many, zero hotels.
Yeah, that was...
it's Orogenesis.
Yeah.
It was $16 a day, I think, is what
living expenses.
Living expenses,
$16 or $17 a day, somewhere around there.
So I think, has that been another thing that's been a predominant part of your journey, is living frugally and doing it as cheaply as possible?
Yeah, definitely. Not quite as cheaply as possible. There are people who somehow survive on less than $10 a day, or even coming around $5 a day.
Mm-hmm.
Not quite tough enough for that. I do like to be able to have food and stuff at the end of the day.
Yeah. That's a cultural experience too.
Yeah,
it's
definitely.
going. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I've met a couple of those people, and they're kind of riding all day on a banana and hoping they can find something somebody's throwing away.
Yeah.
Or eating plain white rice.
Out of trash cans.
Yeah. Yeah. I have done some dumpster diving. Definitely not opposed to that.
There you go.
Wasn't very successful during Orogenesis. Not enough towns. And then being through bear country didn't really help.
They were beating you to it?
No, a lot of the dumpsters were locked.
Oh, yeah, that too.
Yeah. So, no, but generally doing things on the cheaper side. I'm not the lowest budget person around, but definitely on the lower than average side of things.
Do you have an idea of how much you can bike tour on in a year? I know it depends on if you're flying or not, but just, do you have a general idea of your yearly budget for this?
Actually kept a pretty detailed expense log for much of it. Most of the time the goal was around $20 a day, and that was generally pretty achievable. That varies widely depending on the country, of course.
So potentially under 7,000.
Yeah, so that would run around 7,000 a year. Most of the time, that was hard to pull off, including bike parts and visas and other stuff.
Right.
Yeah. Also, kind of side effect of being a bigger person, I tend to break more stuff. So
eat more too.
Yeah, break more bikes, eat more food.
More tires, more just all
more
that.
More tires, more drivetrains. Yeah, average calorie consumption is. When I've done longer food carries, is around 7,000 calories a day on the longer tours.
Yeah.
So lots of cookies, lots of pasta, peanut butter, that kind of thing. So in the Western countries, that's usually just food and wild camping. I did have one stretch traveling through Europe where I managed to not pay for a place to sleep for 4.5 months.
Wow.
And
warm showers or just wild camping?
Wild camping, and then warm showers here and there, but mostly wild camping, really. Warm showers was probably 10%-ish of that at the time, and other than that, just wild camping. Then in non-Western countries, Asia, Africa, South America, that budget allows more for eating out fairly regularly, staying in hotels.
Yeah, when you get a hotel for $5 or $10.
Yeah, that's not too bad. Yeah, it's really interesting when you break it down. It does cost money to wild camp because the gear will wear out eventually.
Okay, so gear, fuel.
Yeah, fuel. I have the like MSR Whisper Light, so it runs on gasoline, so fuel's pretty negligible. If you're running a canister stove, you're looking at 50 cents a day.
There you go.
If you're on the gasoline, it's more like 5 or less.
All right.
Yeah. And so, yeah, one of the ways I could have saved money on Orogenesis was using the gasoline stove instead of the canister stove.
Could have saved 45 cents a day.
Yeah, could have saved $50. But no, wasn't quite up for trying that hard. Canister stoves are a lot easier to use and they don't make a mess. So, and the canisters were also easy to find in the US. But yeah, hotels and that are much more affordable in the non-Western countries. Just because I have good data on it, my last tour through Asia was about 20 months, and that was with my now ex-girlfriend, but traveling as a couple there for complete average of expenses, including bike parts and visas, that was getting on the ground in India to the time we left, which was coincidentally also from Thailand, where I left when I had to come home in 2020. That was right around $32 a day for 2 people.
Total?
Yeah, $32 a day.
So
$16
average. Each.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, that cuts back on the hotel expenses, of course, splitting the hotel costs in that way. And that was staying in hotels about 2/3 of the time, actually, around Asia. So 500, 600-ish days. And 150, 180 nights of wild camping and the rest in hotels.
That's crazy. You remember all this stuff. You can tell you're really detailed.
There's a whole Excel spreadsheet.
Yeah, like I can tell like you have all this data.
Yeah, and it's one of the nice things about keeping track of the budget is saying like, I've spent this much this far. My current average spend is this. Like, I can spend a little bit of money to not spend.
You actually know what your budget is. Yeah.
To like, it is okay to continue eating out for this meal or that meal. Or like, I'm kind of tired at the end of the day. Like, that hotel's a few dollars more than I want to pay. Do I want to just stay or keep trying to keep looking and save a few bucks? And can decide like, it's okay to spend $3 or $4 more a night extra and just stop as opposed to continuing to look.
Expectation versus reality, like it seems so romantic to go and do all this.
I have a good story on that.
Okay. Yeah. I'd love to hear it. I mean,
yeah.
You're making sacrifices to go and live this kind of lifestyle.
Yeah. So yes.
Let's hear a story.
Yeah. So we're basically glorifying homelessness right now. That's putting it in real terms. It's kind of like that. But one way of expectation versus reality was, I met a guy in Rwanda, Sam Jack, and I was riding Cairo to Cape Town, so I was trending mostly southbound. Took a pretty circuitous route around Africa. If you notice, Rwanda isn't quite on the direct route. And he was riding in the opposite direction. He'd started from his home in South Africa and was riding up to West Africa. And I had the appendix surgery in South Africa and then ended up kind of cycling around Europe and stuff. And was around there. Europe is nice. Really like the Lidl supermarkets. Get fresh baked croissants and stuff at that for like €1. And really good food. Wild camping is pretty easy. Cycling infrastructure is really good. In general, it's just kind of easy cycling.
Easy. It's like cycle touring on easy mode.
Yeah, just about. And I was seeing Sam Jack's post, and he was cycling from where I was. He cycled into the Republic of Congo and through a lot of like relatively unstable countries, through Nigeria, Mali, which was still a red zone then, through the Dogon and Mali, and into Burkina Faso, and just kind of went for it on all these really, really intense places, and generally had the same experience, had a good time. From other people I've talked to, the chance of actually having something serious, of being attacked or something going through those areas, is like close to 1/3 of the people that go through there. And he had no problems. And I was seeing his blog posts. He like stayed with the pygmies in the Congo.
Wow.
And saw a bunch of different tribes and camping in schools in the middle of the rainforest and places. And just looked really intense and really cool. And he was seeing my posts of like, oh, cycling around Europe, like, oh, I'm going around the UK, cycling around Ireland, going through Scotland, having a good time. Like, oh, I'm cycling across the Netherlands, riding on all these bike paths, stopped and got pastries. And I messaged him one time. I was like, man, that looks so cool. I wish I was out there right now. He's like, no way. I was going to say the same thing. That looks so much more fun. So
grass is always greener.
Yeah, the grass is always greener when somebody else is doing the pedaling.
Yeah.
So,
but I have to assume you're going to go out to Tokyo. You're still touring. So like, it's not all the life of luxury and all good times,
especially not on the lower budget. But no, I really do enjoy it. That was kind of one of the things, was coming out to these races, of kind of seeing where I'm at. Mm-hmm. And neither of the races, I would say, went superbly, but had a good time and finished both of them. So good on that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think that's a great segue, as I was actually going to ask you, when did you start signing up from racing? I know you were at Doom in 2025.
Yeah.
I see on your Instagram you've done AZT and CTR, but I'm not sure if those were the races or the tours, but where does racing fit in and to all this?
Yeah. Ended up trying my first race, and much like touring, just kind of went for it. Started off with the Tour Divide.
Okay.
As you do. And that was in 2022. Was living in Boise at the time. Had some money coming in, so built up a decently nice bike and tried that out. Also didn't go particularly well, but had plenty of time, so I was able to finish. Had a fork break dropping into Helena in the earlier stages of the race. I was right around top 10 at that point, so I was doing okay. But steering just got really heavy. It's also an interesting story. Was coming in on whatever rocky descent right before you hit the highway going into Helena. I'm like, man, my steering's getting really heavy. I wonder what's going on. And look at it, like, oh, the headset bearing or something is going out. Like, oh, okay, well, hopefully I can just get that sorted really quick in Helena. And just kept on getting worse as I got closer. Like, my shoulders were getting sore from trying to balance on the bike because of how tight the steering was. And got into Helena, like, oh, I think my headset's bearing's out. Like, mechanic's like, okay, picked up my bike and the fork dropped out the bottom.
What the heck?
Yeah, the steerer tube had cracked.
So if you had like done a wheelie, it would have.
If I'd done a wheelie or hit a bump,
big bump, something. Yeah.
It was at that point where it was right there, of going face first into the road.
Okay.
So
kind of lucked out on that one.
Very much. Yeah, it's. For everything that's bad that's happened, I've been surprisingly lucky.
Yeah.
So, but I got stuck for 2 days there and waiting for a new fork. And then at that point, I was just kind of fast touring it.
Yeah.
So still managed to finish and had a good time. Glad I did it.
And did you race AZT and CTR?
I didn't race the AZT. That was last year, actually 2 weeks after Doom. Left out to tour the AZT, flew into Tucson or wherever, rode to the start, and then got to tour almost all of the AZT. Had some mechanical problems, so missed like a small section around the Mogollon Rim, but got like over 90% of it, which usually counts as a completion to me when you're touring. And then CTR had a very ambitious plan there. This is good because in a way, kind of looking at where I'm at, you can see like all these things like I've succeeded at to a degree, and this was one of the things that didn't quite succeed at.
Okay.
So for Colorado Trail, was doing some training and feeling pretty good about it. Andrew Strempke had the Yo-Yo FKT that was right around 13 days, I think. So I got this crazy idea of like, oh, I'm going to ride the Colorado Trail southbound starting on this very specific day. I'll have 7 days to get from Denver to Durango, And then I'm going to have a full rest day in Durango and turn around and come back with the Grand Depart and try to get it in under 4.5 days.
Okay.
And if I was under 4.5 days coming back, that would have been a potential yo-yo FKT.
Yeah. And I assume he did it single speed.
He did it single speed, yeah. So he still would have had the single speed FKT.
Yeah, okay.
But no, I underestimated the altitude, underestimated the hike-a-bike. It fell apart pretty fast. I had a good first day. I was on track. I had a pretty good second day. I was having some back problems and stuff. And on the third day, I was just pretty dead. I think I ended up doing like 35 miles and 4,000 or 5,000 feet of climbing.
Oh, wow, yeah.
And then just kind of had to take lots of breaks and just realized right away it wasn't going to happen. And I did finish, just slowed down.
Yeah.
Had a still reasonable time of like 9 days or so going southbound. I ended up seeing everybody on the Grand Depart on the day before I finished the trail, coming back and feeling a little bit of that missing out. I did have the idea coming in. I was feeling good going into Buena Vista, which is a little bit over the halfway point, I think. And I thought about picking up the pace again, trying to get back on pace, and not having the rest day and just turning around and doing the Grand Depart. But would have had to really, really dig for that mentally. And actually already had the plan of starting orogenesis after that.
Yeah.
So at that point, from a mental perspective, it felt like an either or.
Yeah.
So decided to I'm not saying I definitely could have done it, but the mental state I was in, I was kind of picking either or. So I decided to go for touring orogenesis.
How has your mental state held up through the course of all this? Like, these are hugely hard efforts, whether you're racing or you're touring, you're out of your comfort zone. It has to come with auxiliary like stressors and stuff. And like, that's something I'm always impressed with when people can, keep it up for like 10 years, or
I have had some good chunks of time off. So
to just reset.
Hasn't quite been continuous. Out of that 10 years, I think it's 6.5 years on tour, roughly.
Mm-hmm.
So not an exact figure. We'll just give that as a pretty good estimate. Have had some good breaks. Most of the time it's been pretty good. I did struggle a little bit with depression beforehand, and that still kind of comes up randomly here and there. A lot of that just depends on kind of what's happening in the tour. And sometimes everything could be great and still kind of feeling down in the dumps for whatever reason. But just about every day I've been able to pick myself up and ride some miles, however many that is.
It's interesting because, like, for a lot of people that don't get to tour as much as you do, and other people like y'all, like, we have a job and we do life, and then we go on these vacations, or we kind of like leave our problems behind. But like what you're doing is you're living your life out there. So your problems are you can't, outrun your depression for too long, or whatever you're running, not to say everybody's running, but, leaving the woes of the world behind. You're creating a new life on the road. And so whatever you experience in your life is just going to happen on the road.
Yeah. So as privileged and ridiculous as it is to say it, it does become kind of normal after a while. It's still my life. It's still going on. I still definitely do my best to appreciate it, especially when I'm kind of feeling not so great at different times. And that has been a challenge in the past, but I've tried to be more aware of that and see when it's coming. As I kind of have an idea that I'll probably try something normal, and probably end up being sometime next year, based on current savings. So there to a degree there is an end in sight. I'm not sure how long that will be, but going to try to do something more normal after that. So
like a normal job, normal life, quote unquote normal.
Yeah, we'll see
what we've normalized.
Yeah. Well, working, racing, and doing shorter trips, that kind of thing.
Yeah,
is the idea. So, and that's a reminder to kind of enjoy it while it lasts. Because that's in a way, even even when I was first starting out, just kind of doing my best to appreciate it. Like, I'm not planning on making this my entire life. There are people who have done that. Definitely not the most traveled person in the world on a bike.
No.
Heinz Stücke comes to mind, German guy.
That's the guy that, I mean, he's been going for like 70 years or 60 years or something.
Yeah, he did a little bit over 50 years, mostly nonstop.
Yeah.
And crazy amount of riding, crazy amount of touring and all that.
He's still around, right?
He's still alive. I think he's mostly bedridden. Did hear a podcast from him recently.
You did?
Yeah. So
he was one I was like, I wonder if I could like get a hold of him.
Yeah, it sounds like he's pretty open. You should try.
Okay.
Give him a call.
Yeah.
He loves to, sounds like he loves to talk about it.
Okay, that's good to know. Yeah.
So yeah, reach out. Worst 6 days no.
Yeah. I mean, that's exactly how it goes.
Yeah. So yeah.
All right. So sorry, were you gonna say something?
Yeah. Just kind of not planning on making it permanent. So I'm planning on trying to do something normal. We'll see how long that lasts.
Yeah. Are you looking forward to that like next season of like being a little bit more settled and trying the other shoe on for a little while? Yeah,
trying to do something normal since it's been the majority of my adult life at this point.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I think it could be, I don't know, I'm all about times and seasons of life personally. Like, I've stopped trying to be like, oh, I'm this way and I'm this person all the time. It's like, no, right now I feel like being this person and I feel like living here or doing it this way or whatever.
Yeah. Another thing on the just mental struggle, orogenesis is actually a pretty good example of that. It's a very intense route. I just did the border to border when I rode it. I had already ridden the Baja Divide, but it was still 3,500 miles border to border and 500,000 vertical feet of climbing, somewhere around there.
Yeah.
And even touring, I was going for like 6 hours of moving time a day. And sometimes that was spending 3 or 4 hours pushing my bike up the side of a mountain and an hour or two riding down. But the other 12-ish hours a day, I was planning to be lying down in my tent trying to recover from doing that so I could get up and do it again the next day.
Yeah.
And that was hard. I'd compare it to the kind of like the Arizona Trail. It's just more than 4 times as long.
Yeah. Yeah, I couldn't even imagine.
And there's no portage.
And so for the record, for anyone who doesn't know, I had Kurt Refsnyder on the podcast at the beginning of the year. He was the first person to complete orogenesis. And then shortly after he started, you actually hopped on the trail too. Do you remember how long after he started? It was like a month or two, or
about 2 weeks behind.
2 weeks behind.
Yeah.
It was like real soon.
Yeah, if I had not done the Colorado Trail immediately beforehand, I would have started at about the same time.
That would have been fun. Riding buddy.
Yeah, I thought about doing that, but kind of had the time available to do the Colorado Trail. And planning around that, I was planning to do orogenesis and then be in Southern California for Thanksgiving with family and stuff.
Yeah.
So the timing worked out a little bit better doing that beforehand as well.
Okay. So with this new, life 3.0 or whatever, where you're maybe going to be a little more settled down, do you see yourself like doing more racing? Is that something that you're kind of, again, you've kind of done the touring thing. Now maybe racing sounds different and fun.
Yeah, definitely want to get into the racing more. Really enjoyed that. The experience is very intense. I like the challenge and stuff around racing, and then hopefully having a job or something, knocking off a few of the more expensive countries that make less sense to do on the really low budget. Like Caribbean islands would be a good example, where you're kind of just flying into places. The cost of being around there, getting back is a little bit higher. So budget touring doesn't quite work as well. One of the things that makes it possible to travel on a very low budget is being out for a long time. If you're looking at normal, because
a plane is so much of the
2 or 3 week bikepacking trip to wherever that involves flights, especially internationally. Just getting there and getting back is a really big portion of that.
Yeah, the longer it is, the longer you cost average your flight over the whole trip.
Yeah, so it might cost, I was looking probably $500 to fly over to Japan for a one-way ticket. But once I'm there, I'm going to have the low budget and hopefully stick to that pretty well.
Yeah.
So,
all right, we should talk about Doom.
Yes. Get you talking too.
Huh?
Get you doing some talking too.
Oh, I did Doom too.
Yeah.
You did Doom in 2025 and you came in second. So I have to think you were, that was one of your better finishes?
That was my best finish yet. Yeah. 2025 was a really serious year for weather. They actually delayed the start.
Oh my God, it was horrendous. It was biblical.
Yeah, they delayed the start. Had those like once in a generation storm or something like that. And started out, when the race started, it was about 35 degrees and raining. And or barely above freezing. And for me, I think the touring background was really helpful with that because I was able to manage being in the bad weather a lot better than a lot of people.
Yeah.
Even just kind of seeing the field this year, there were a few people that came back and went faster than me. So in a way, I think that's kind of telling of the weather was definitely a factor at that race, that I just happened to be able to manage it pretty well.
Yeah.
And keep moving. And just part of it's in a way being comfortable with being uncomfortable, and knowing when cold feet, cold hands, or just generally being cold is a problem, and when it's okay to keep moving. I did manage to sleep inside while I was there, so that worked out really well.
Like your first attempt?
Yeah, the Doom in 2025. Okay. So yeah, and then just kind of managed it a little bit better than everybody else.
Who came in first that year?
Tom Schwemberger. Yeah, he's won a bunch of races around and holds a few FKTs. I think he's placed at the mountain races as well.
Okay, yeah.
Pretty high up there. So yeah, very, very strong rider.
Yeah, you had an interesting thing coming into Doom for 2026 this year. First of all, we had perfect weather, which was much appreciated. Some people thought it was hot. I come from Texas. I was like, that's great. I think you got 85 or something on day one.
Somewhere around there. Yeah.
Not
maybe only
hot.
like 70, 75 as well. A little bit cooler. It was not, or for Doom?
On day two? I thought day one got up to like 85.
I don't remember.
Well, it was nice weather. It wasn't. The thing I was worried about was cold and wet, because that is. I mean, that's know the history of Doom to some extent. That's the history of ETS around that time of year in this part of the world.
Got lucky with both of them this year.
Yeah, we got lucky with both, which I don't know if that's ever happened before. We'd have to go back in
I don't know
in the record books and see. What did you think about, and for people who don't know, Doom 2025 was up in the Ozarks. Andrew moved the race down to the Wachitas this year, starting out of, Hot Springs. Similar terrain, but also quite a bit different. Ozarks are just straight up, straight down, a lot more climbing. The Wachitas have a lot of climbing, but also you have periods of, flattish or more sections. What did you think about the two different areas?
Yeah, the race was very different. I kind of based my setup off of last year's Doom, and that was a mistake.
Okay.
The Doom course,
a lot more single track.
Yeah, the Doom course for 2025, I think, was only 35 or 40 miles of single track, and most of that was in the rain and mud and stuff. So it's a little bit of a factor, but not nearly as much as it was this year. This year we were around 110 miles of single track, I think, out of 330. So close to
33%.
About a third of the race was on single track. And didn't choose big enough tires, and that was apparent right away.
Well, we should preface this by saying that, part of your decision was this is interesting, y'all. You had to fly from Idaho to Doom, like I mentioned, then you rode from Doom to ETS. Andrew's race is very much a predominantly, it's about a third mountain bike, but I'd say mountain bike race right there. And then mine it's a straight up gravel race. There's no reason to have a mountain bike unless you just want the comfort. So what was the bike you brought? Because it had to serve both courses, and you made some choices to kind of split the hairs between the two.
Yeah, I have a Starling Murmur, full suspension steel mountain bike. A little bit on the heavy side. I think it was 33 pounds without bags. which is on the heavy side when you're on a rigid post and 2.2-inch tires. I ended up choosing the same Rene Hirsch tires I used last year for Doom. I was hoping that would be okay. And part of that was being cheap and not wanting to switch tires between the races.
Oh, okay.
So knowing what I know now, I would have gone like 2.4, even 2.6 for Doom with all the single track there. And full suspension mountain bike wasn't quite the ideal bike for East Texas Showdown.
Not quite.
No, I think...
Pretty sure you're the only showdowner with the full squish.
Maybe even the only one. Was there other people on the other routes?
I don't know if I saw a full squish on the whole. We usually have some, but I honestly can't remember seeing... You might have been the only one in the field.
Might have been the only one.
And can you fully lock it out or no?
No, I don't have a lockout on that. So no, there's a little bit of suspension bob in there. It's definitely comfortable.
Oh my God, yeah. You probably would have been fared a little bit better if it had rained at East Texas. I was thinking about that. There's actually quite a few people that prefer, because like if you manage yourself well in like adverse conditions, that's an opportunity for you to perform better. And then you also had the bike for it as well.
Yeah. So potentially the weather would have been better there if there was weather. I did switch to a 38 tooth chainring for East Texas Showdown, and that was a good move.
Versus what'd you run it?
32.
32.
Yeah.
And what'd you have on the back?
1051. 1051. Yeah, Shimano microspline.
I ran the exact same gear ratio that you ran. And I also, I ran my Hayduk tie hardtail with Maxxis Icon 2.4-inch tires, and I had 2 6s on. I had the Recon 2 6s on, but switched them out specifically for Doom. I believe I did the 200-mile version, and I think we had 60 miles of single track, so a little bit less than a third of it was in single track, and the rest of it was predominantly gravel, nothing too crazy for the gravel terrain, and then some paved riding. And I thought, like, for me, the 2.4 worked well. Like, the Lovett is a kind of, it's not like a super gnarly trail. It's not like the Womble and the Wichita trail. Those two are like out of those three, what do they call it? The Ouachita Triple Crown is what they call that series of 3 trails. The Lovett is still an IMBA epic. It's a challenging trail. I've ridden it several, I think 3 or 4 times now. It was fine on a 2.4. It's like, yeah. So I was pretty happy with my tire choice.
Yeah, that sounds like the good one to have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you had so you raced didn't go exactly the way you wanted to go. I guess my first question is, did you set a goal like going in, or is it just always like, hey, I'm going to just see where I land, but do my best?
I don't think I'll ever be strong enough to say I have a goal on where I'm going to finish.
Yeah. Maybe one day once you know where you're at in the field.
Maybe. Yeah. It's one of those things on it really depends who shows up and what happens during the race.
Yeah.
So my main goal was just to finish the races. Did want to try as like personal challenge to push it on sleep. Doom took me about 48 hours or right over.
Yeah, you were right over. I
know just barely
2 days, 0 hours and something, I think.
Yeah, some amount of minutes, but yeah. And was trying to push it on sleep. So I ended up doing 3 15-minute naps along the way.
The whole time.
Yeah. And that ended up working pretty well. That was the most I pushed it on sleep for a race like that. Doom last year, I had like an hour and a half each night. And that still felt like I was pushing it at that point when I was doing that one. So to have less moving time and or a slightly shorter course, roughly, I'm not sure, I'd have to look at the moving time. They weren't that far apart for my average speed on what I did, but in a significantly lower elapsed time, less stoppage time would be the big thing there. That was one of my goals to do that.
Yeah, so you're really focused on that.
Yeah. And then if I placed, that would have been a
bonus,
a tertiary thing. Yeah, bonus.
Always nice to place. I think you came in 7th.
Yeah, I think 7th overall.
And at East Texas, I think 7th overall and 6th in the men's category and 7th overall.
Yeah. That sounds right. I wasn't quite sure if the tracker were jumping around on who got what where.
Yeah, I looked at it today, so I think that's the settled note, because they went through and like settled all the times. What's in there now is like the accurate times.
Yeah, actually wrote on your board that I sprinted for 8th place, so have to change that. I was able to
go in,
or it might just be on the tracker. I was actually I came in ahead, just barely ahead of Lucia.
Okay.
Or Lucia, however you say his name.
Oh, Lucio.
Yeah, Lucio. Yeah. So I saw him with a quarter mile to go on one of the hills right before you drop in towards the finish. I was like, oh shoot, he's right there, gonna go for it.
He was in front of you, so you went and chased him.
Yeah, so it just sprinted up the hill, just caught him and passed him and rolled into the finish line before. We didn't have to stop for cars, so I think, and I was ahead of him getting to the stop sign. So I think it's a relatively fair sprint to say.
Yeah. So he didn't let you just pass. He tried to sprint you to the finish.
Think he saw me coming and was trying to stay ahead.
Oh, that's so much fun. Yeah. I love it.
But that was a lot at the end of almost 400 miles.
Yeah, no kidding. And a doom and riding to like all of that. So you slept 3 15-minute naps at Doom, but you were dealing with, you said, mechanicals, nausea, you had back pain, so it seems like you're just managing a lot of extra stuff.
Extra problems. I really need to stay on top of like the hike-a-bike training and stuff to keep my back strong. My parents, where I was hanging out at the time, there's really no single track or any technical trails, and also being winter, my one option would have been just to push my bike through the snow somewhere, but I wasn't quite motivated enough to do that.
Yeah. I did a little bit of hike-a-bike training for AZT. We don't have much hills around here, but I literally just find something and hike my bike up and go down and hike it up and down. But leading up to Doom, I found there's this trail called Camera Park that's about an hour and a half away from here that actually mimicked the Lovett pretty darn well. And I did quite a bit of like hike-a-biking intentionally to because you don't practice that. And so I was like, all right, I guess I'll dismount and hike this one just for fun.
Yeah. So no, that would have been helpful for sure. And then I had the silliest mechanical ever. It was in Hot Springs a few days earlier, like going over my bike, checking all the screws and stuff. And one of the screws on my front brake caliper fell out on the Lovett.
On your front brake caliper?
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Yeah, so, no, really a little bit scary. Luckily, it was still holding on, but was coming right over that crest on the Lovett Trail where there's that viewpoint over the lake and a bench and stuff. And started that descent. It's like, there's something rattling on my bike. I can't figure it out.
So that's like 40 miles in the race or something.
Yeah. So I'd hit the brakes and go away. I'm looking at it, like bouncing my bike around, wiggling the front wheel, like or the hub bearings going out or something like that. And the screw fell out of the front brake caliper, and it was holding on by a couple threads on that other screw. And so kind of just tried pulling off one of the screws off the back brake and putting it into the front, but it was just barely too short, which was a little disappointing because that could have worked. And just ended up having to kind of tighten the one screw down as much as I could. And then it's not quite enough to hold the brake caliper in place. So whenever I hit the brakes pretty hard, it would knock the caliper into the rotor and misalign it, so the brake was rubbing.
So you'd have to manually readjust
it. Yeah, manually readjust it. And luckily I have mechanical brakes and a cable release on the lever. So I was able to press the button on the lever to cut the tension, and that would still hear it ringing and stuff as it go around, but it was still rubbing and driving me crazy.
Yeah.
So it was kind of whenever I finished a single track section, I'd hop off and readjust the brake, then get back on and keep going and try not to use it.
Yeah.
And
mostly frustrating, time consuming.
Mostly frustrating. And then with the nausea, part of it was going out too hard. Got a little bit caught up in the excitement. Was doing pretty well until we hit the single track on the Levitt. And then that's where kind of the tire choice came into play. I was like, oh, nope, messed up on the tires. Getting frustrated, trying too hard to power up stuff that I should have just been walking.
Yeah.
And heart rate going too high. And that can lead to nausea on the longer efforts. So made a few mistakes.
How did you manage it? Did you, like, once you calmed down a little bit and settled in, it alleviated itself, or did you have to deal with that through the whole race?
Most of the first day I was just feeling pretty awful and not able to eat very much. I did stop and sit down in Big Fork, which I think is like mile 110. And just...
The Big Fork Mall.
Yeah, Big Fork Mall. Not quite the mall you'd imagine, but
I love that they call it a mall. Yeah. A little tongue-in-cheek. A lot of tongue-in-cheek.
Yeah, a little country store restaurant with like a gas station and a mini market kind of thing.
Which we should give them a shout out because they stayed out 24 hours for all the riders. So I actually didn't stop there because they had a neutral aid at mile 125, 127, something like that. And I believe Big Fork was at mile 115. So it was like 10 or 12 more miles. So I just decided to push ahead to that. So I didn't get to see it, but I saw the pictures and everything. And I know from talking to people that they stayed up and served people 24 hours a day, which is just freaking clutch.
Yeah, definitely. That was big.
So before Big Fork is at least on I did the Love It or Leave It. Wait, is that what I did? Love It or Leave It? Is that what it's called? No, I did the High Watch. I did the High Watch, the middle distance. The highest point on the route is at mile 100, which comes like right before Big Fork. It's about a 4 or 5 mile, really pitchy. I don't know the average gradient all the way up to the highest point, and then you just turn around and come back down.
Lookout tower.
Yeah. Did you ride the whole thing or?
I think I read most of it. I might have walked a little bit. I don't quite remember there.
I walked a lot of it.
Yeah. I just had to stop for a long break at the top and kind of lay down and stretch and try to shove some food in my mouth.
I
force feed myself.
Dude, we do not have hills like that or mountains like that in Texas, and it's hard. You got to manage it. If you burn all your matches, like doing some, like I'm like I could ride 3 miles an hour, or I could walk 2.5, or I could ride 3.5, or I could walk 2.5. So I walked most of it, and I took when I got to the top, I actually went down the hill just a little ways because it was really windy when I got there. And it was nighttime, really cold, or starting to get really cold. And I actually took a 15-minute dirt nap, which was my first time ever to do that, to ever take you always hear, like, obviously I do the podcast, everybody's like these 15-minute naps, and that was one of my goals for Doom was like, first goal was just like, hey, ride through the night. Potentially, but second goal was like, if you need a nap, don't do this like sleep for hours thing, like just try a 15-minute and see how it would do. And that 100 miles came right around midnight for me, and I wasn't that tired at all. Like the nighttime is when I shine, quote unquote shine, like in my daily life in riding, like I'm more of a night owl, I'm way more awake. So like at 12 o'clock, I wasn't even getting close to like that tired or fatigued. But I was still like, what would it be like if I just gave my body 15 minutes and then like kept going? Like and it was pretty cool. Like, I think mostly it just gives your nervous system a rest. Like I didn't sleep, but I just laid there, eyes closed, completely still, comfortable for 15 minutes. It was relaxing and felt a little refreshed, and got up and made it to the aid station. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, that was actually first time for me too with Doom. Doing
really?
Dirt naps.
Trying the 15-minute naps?
Yeah, that was kind of the plan going into it, of push it on sleep, but take naps if I need to.
How did it work out for you?
Same, surprisingly well. Yeah, just the one nap the first night, and then got some caffeine and stuff in me. Brought a few of the 5-hour energies. Was not as helpful as I was hoping, but was enough to keep moving.
How are you ingesting your caffeine? Do you bring pills, or are you just getting it through like liquids?
Liquid, like little 5-hour energy shots.
Just the 5 hours, yeah.
Yeah, I've tried caffeine pills once, and they gave me heart palpitations.
Oh, really?
haven't done that again.
Oh, interesting. Yeah. I'm the opposite. Those 5 hours, they can make my stomach feel unsettled and a little bit of raciness. And so I think my caffeine tabs are 200 milligram caffeine tabs, which is between 1 to 2 cups of coffee, depending on how strong the coffee is, I think. And that's what I did. I think I only took 2 over the course of it. But I wasn't pushing the sleep as much as you were either.
Yeah. I think the 5 hour energies are about the same, that 200 milligrams ish, but for whatever reason, my body handles those a lot better.
It likes that better. How are you fueling your doom?
I do mostly normal food, I guess, is the easiest way of saying it. So soft foods. Had quite a lot of salami and cheese, just as like cut up in cubes and stuff in a bag. Brought a few like wraps with chicken cheese wraps. Brought some cheesecake. That was actually my drop bag thing for that. I managed to stuff like 3/4 of a cheesecake into my drop bag. And that was amazing. Felt really good after.
It sounds a little heavy to me.
It does sound a little bit heavy. Yeah. It didn't work as well with East Texas Showdown because I did the whatever top tube bag I have is stuff like half a cheesecake in there. And I was not able to eat that with the heat. It didn't work with the warmer weather, with the warmer temperatures for me.
It was hotter in Texas than Arkansas.
Yeah, and the humidity.
Oh yeah, we got more of that too.
Yeah, so yeah, still figuring it out, but softer foods, some cookies, like little snack cake things, whatever. Oatmeal cream pies, that kind of thing.
Yeah. Do you mess with any of the sports hydration mixes or anything?
Not really. Mostly just because it's expensive.
Yeah.
So, being cheap, and I have tried like homebrew stuff, but that's literally just table sugar and some salt.
Yeah, I was gonna say. Make your own.
If you look at the ingredients, I'm pretty sure that's what some of those places are selling, and they're just putting labels on it.
Yeah.
I get for $10 a pound or more.
I know very accomplished athletes that just mix their own stuff in their kitchen, and it's better because then you have quality control. Like if you're really trying to get dialed and you want to know exactly what's in it, you can do that at home, and it's a lot cheaper to do if you got the time to do it.
Yeah. So I was using that for training stuff, and that was working pretty well. I think I made a little bit of it for Doom. It's just was not a significant amount of my calorie intake.
So those trackers are always a little bit wonky. You never really know if they're telling the accurate story, but yeah, from what I could tell, looking at the replay, you went out pretty hot, slowed down a little bit, and then about halfway, maybe 60% of the way into the race, you started to like pick people off. And so you got in a little bit further back in the field, but then like finished, in the top 10, 7th, really solid finish. Yeah. And a huge field too. I don't remember how many people were in there, but close to 100 or...
I think it was about 100, just under, somewhere around there.
Yeah, something like that, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, kind of like I mentioned, went out a little bit too fast and then not feeling great. Stopping at the Big Fork Mall for a burger helped. Normally I could eat like 2 or 3 cheeseburgers without trying, like probably right now.
Yeah.
But that one I was barely able to finish the burger and like took the fries to go. Just stomach was not doing well. And then a lot of people stopped to sleep. A lot of people were trying to push it without sleeping. And kind of have to have the balance in that. That's some of what happened on East Texas Showdown as well. But from what little I looked at the tracker, I caught a bunch of people on the Womble Trail on Doom, especially in the later miles of that. There are people who are just kind of knocked out on the side of the trail, and I'd see like, oh, is that a bike over there or something like that? Oh, somebody sleeping, try not to shine my light on them.
Temporary graveyards all along the
exactly. Yeah, so yeah, I ended up managing that pretty well. I don't know that I ever felt good during the entire race. So I was definitely digging pretty deep to keep going, but at that point I was kind of like, I'm just trying to finish, and whatever I get is what I get.
Our experience was we're pretty closely aligned in some ways. I didn't have any mechanicals thing. Oh, my suspension, my front fork broke like within the last 6 miles. I don't know what, but I mean something inside. It's like clank, 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 clank. I mean, there's no squish left.
Yeah, the damper probably came off or something.
Something.
Rock shocks
I'm no
or
mechanic.
Fox?
What?
Rock shocks or Fox?
It's the Pike Performance shock. Yeah.
You might be able to do that yourself with YouTube. But
I might be able to find a bike shop to do it.
If you want to pay a couple $100.
Yeah. So, do I remember correctly that you were also a little bit sick going into Doom?
I think so. Yeah. Just weird stomach stuff. I'm not 100% sure what was going on. If I was at just whatever water I was drinking, I was drinking tap water like I normally do in developed countries.
Mm-hmm.
So could have been that. Could have been something I ate. Wasn't sleeping very well. It was like pre-race jitters or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So that certainly didn't help either. But no, I got to dial it in a little bit more, figure out what's going on.
So you never started feeling better towards the race. You just think that I guess maybe other people were feeling a little bit more worse and you got a little bit more gritty and just powered through, finished it off.
I ended up stopping to eat quite a lot just because didn't have the coordination or energy to eat while riding on the long single track stuff.
So hard. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like how do you if you don't have it in a bladder, like how are you getting your nutrition on that single track without stopping? Really challenging.
Yeah. It's possible to just like stop for 5 seconds and shove some food in your mouth and like chew while you're riding. But I was not feeling good. So just like sitting down to eat and kind of eating as much as I could and then pick up and keep going until I felt like I could eat again.
Yeah.
So I think it's a lot of that of people were falling behind on sleep, nutrition, fatigue, all that stuff.
Yeah. Well, I guess I'll share a little bit about my Doom experience.
Which Gremlin bell did you get?
Which Gremlin bell? I got like a Dragonfly. I got a Dragonfly.
Okay, nice.
What'd you get?
It looked kind of like a snitch from Harry Potter.
Okay.
It had like the little ball with the wings coming off of it and said freedom on it. So some
freedom.
Heavy-handed symbolism on what I should do with my life, maybe.
Yeah, mine is telling me I should be a, what did I say I got?
Apex predator, I think. Yeah. Dragonfly.
Dragonfly. Yeah. Just be nice to everyone. You're at the bottom of the food chain.
It depends on which food chain.
Yeah, I guess so. I went in. It was the thing that bummed me out is I got sick on Monday. I woke up Monday morning before Doom, being on Friday morning, sick. Both my girls have been sick. I was freaking trying my best to dodge it. And I'm usually pretty good at dodging it. And luckily it wasn't like anything crazy. It was just a cold. But I never felt good at Doom. Like when you're like, I never felt good. Like I never had energy. I could tell my body was like still trying to recover from being sick. I was still sick. So like, I just didn't have like any energy well to like pull from. And I think it was a combination. I think it was the sickness, cause I had so much drainage, when I was really gross. It was a very gross race for me. But a lot of the drainage whatever wasn't coming out was like getting on my tummy and, dude, I was just fighting nausea. I usually like get pretty hungry. You get to a place and you like pound some stuff, and it was the hardest job to just always try to be finding something I could eat, something I could put on my stomach that, I did throw up. I know I read you said you didn't throw up. I threw up twice. And it actually felt good. I was actually like, all right, yeah, let's get that out. Let's go. But whenever you're talking about calories, it's not a very effective race strategy. Yeah. So between like not being able to eat, not being able to get in calories, already being like low reserves, I just had nothing to pull from. And so like the whole thing was a slog until like, especially day one, day one was one of those days where I was like, oh, maybe I could like fall down here and my derailleur will snap off and I'll have a good reason to quit, or maybe I can like kind of get hurt, but not,
self-sabotage.
Yeah, I'm having all like the worst dark thoughts. I was like, I was not in a good headspace. I was like, dude, I don't want to be here. Like, I'm like,
there's a sharp rock, smash my tire into it.
Please, yes. Let me. Where are these sharp rocks in Arkansas I keep hearing about? My stands and my tires are doing too good. Yeah, that whole first day was really a mental battle. Honestly, like I didn't feel good about my fitness, like with the sickness and everything. I was having like bad self-talk, and I was like, oh, maybe I'll just switch down to 100. And you got to make that decision, I think, around like mile 50 or something. So pretty early on. And luckily, my ego wouldn't let me quit, and my ego made me keep going. And I felt pretty rough until about 8 or 9 o'clock. And just that's how I am. Whenever it gets to be nighttime, then I was like, oh, I feel good. And like originally, I would have not brought a sleep kit, but because I was sick, I didn't know how far I was going to be able to push it. So I brought a minimal sleep kit, weighed 2.74 pounds, which is minimal for me. I mean, it could get way more minimal, but my original thing would have just been like an emergency bivy and like probably not even a pillow or nothing, just like lay in the dirt and that's it. But I actually brought something to sleep in, but I was feeling good. And, ultimately, I decided to sleep at mile 127 at the aid station. I slept from like 4:30 to 7:30. I caught 3 hours, which was great. And I woke up and my body was wrecked, dude. Y'all can skip this if you want to. I'm about to get gross. But I woke up, and within 10 minutes, I immediately woke up, laid out the nastiest burp of my life, had to find somewhere to go shit real fast. And then right after I got done shitting, I threw up. Like, I was not okay. And
days like that.
What's that?
I've had sicknesses like that.
Yeah, it's just like, across the board. But actually day 2 went pretty well. The morning was a little bit rough, but day 2 was great. We got to go back on the Lovett Trail, which I love the Lovett. It's always nice to be on mountain bike trails, and especially those. The kick in the teeth for me was the Northwoods at the very end.
Yeah.
Same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So was murder.
Let me get this correct. Here's my perception. Andrew routed us out of town. So for anyone who doesn't know, we like started the ride coming out of Hot Springs on the Northwood trails, mountain bike trails. And then the last section before you got back to Hot Springs was also on the Northwoods. Here's my perception. Andrew routed us out on the easiest trails possible, but on the way back, I'm guessing he found the hardest ones possible as a little kick in the teeth right at the end. Was that your perception, or was I just tired?
Yeah, it felt like there were a lot of hills and stuff. I was coming in on the road. I'm looking at it like, oh, I got like 8 miles to go. I can make it just under 48 hours. I hit the single track and went so slow. I was walking up the hills, and it was also dark, so just moving slow in general. But yeah, that was rough. It's like, okay, up one hill, up, down another, up, there's another hill.
That was the hardest part of the race.
Okay, this is it. This is the last one, yes. I think. And then it was coming down that second to last descent or whatever. One of the screws fell out of my cleats, so I couldn't clip in.
Oh my God.
So yeah, like actually, like you said, 6 miles away. Maybe the same place your fork busted.
Yeah.
But yeah, couldn't clip in, and luckily, like, oh, I'm almost there. It doesn't matter. Just pedal on the whatever SPD platform without actually clipping in and walk up the hills.
That's a little slippery, especially on those trails. Yeah. There was that one, I don't know if you remember, there was there was a lot of nice flow sections on that last stretch of Northwoods, but there was one in particular that was like huge berms, and you could really take the jumps if you wanted to. And I was having the time of my life. I rode that trail back in 2017. I remember it. I'm like, oh, I love this trail, but it was so long ago, I didn't remember what it was. And then Andrew put on the Doom, and I'm like, that's where this trail is. I got to remember. Yeah, now I know where it is. I can go back and ride it, but really fun trail.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a fun trail. I don't know that I was enjoying it very much at that point. I think I was ready to be done.
Yeah, well, you had a lot more single track than I did. I will say I am so glad with my decision to do the 200 mile and not the 330. For me personally, I've had a couple DNFs my last couple attempts at some hard things. And I was like, Patrick, you just need to like go back down here and, try to check that box. And I'm proud to check it. It feels great to finish. It was a great course. I'm just a little bit bummed I didn't feel better like during the experience. But you can't have it all. I think I finished 43rd, by the way, for anyone who's interested.
Oh, nice.
I think I beat 26 people and I came in 43rd. So solid, lower middle pack or upper lower pack. Yeah, I'm right in there, man. Pro slow, baby. That's where I'm at. Yeah. So I felt good about that, man. What did you think of the Ouachitas versus the Ozarks? I love them both, but like, I'll just say where I live, the Ouachitas are like 2 hours closer. So for the last 15 or so years, I've been going to the Ouachitas, have a lot of nostalgia there. It's a little bit more, the terrain's a little bit more accessible too for us Texans. So what were your thoughts?
Ouachitas were definitely less steep than the Ozarks. There was a lot more hike-a-bike just on roads and stuff in the previous course with like 20-25% grades on the roads. So Ouachitas were generally easier if it was not for all the single track.
Yeah.
But no, the single track is what really made it the challenge.
So which one was harder? I mean, and try to factor out the weather on the first year, but like if you were going to compare course to course and similar conditions.
Yeah, that's tough. I think they're pretty close. It's just different type of riding, I guess, which makes it harder to compare because, the other last year's edition had a lot more roads and stuff.
Yeah, but a lot more climbing.
Yeah, while still steep and chunky. It wasn't that far off from climbing. I think it was 42 or 43,000 feet last year and 410 miles. This year was 330, and I think I got 38,000.
Okay.
So not that much less. But.
I realized I should look up my time. I don't even remember my time from Doom. I went straight from Doom I'm like planning East Texas Showdown in the middle of prepping for Doom and doing Doom. And then of course, like when I got back, it was 100% focus on East Texas. So like, it's kind of a blur, it just like happened in a pocket. So let's see what my time was. One day, 18 hours and 24 minutes. So it took me I did 130 miles less than you and 6 hours less than you.
Not bad.
Hey, I'm happy. That's where I'm at right now, man.
I'm just happy I finished.
Yeah, me too, dude. I'm happy.
That was my main goal coming in, was just try to finish if I can't do anything else.
It meant a lot to me, honestly, and it meant more than I realized it was going to. And like, I was just telling Natalie on the ride home for ETS, actually, like, because I have had some DNFs recently, I kind of, this experience was a reminder of this kind of like this quiet confidence you get. And like, not of this like braggadocious, like, oh, I'm a badass, but just like I genuinely just felt like kind of more calm in my own body and more like, Yeah. And it was just quiet, but it was subtle, but it's like, it seems to have like just permeated to where I'm just feeling like more self-assured in my own body, which has been a really nice feeling.
It's a good feeling now. Yeah. I think I've started 5 races and finished 4. And the one I didn't finish was actually Smoke and Fire, which is more or less the home race out there in Idaho.
Mm-hmm.
It was the same year I did Tour Divide, so 2022. And it's actually the same mechanical as Tour Divide. My fork snapped 30 miles in.
God, man. So, it's tough being a big boy.
I got unlucky with that one. And,
tall, by the way, not big.
Tall,
in other words. Yeah.
Tall.
For people who aren't watching this.
Yeah. 210 pounds-ish, somewhere around there.
Yeah. So I'm 6'2" and 180. Yeah, we're probably about pound for pound-ish.
Similar build, probably.
Similar build. You just got 4 inches on there.
So no, I wasn't able to finish that one. Didn't have a backup bike for that.
So how did you feel about your Doom performance? I mean, obviously it didn't go how you would have liked, and there's some things. How do you feel about it?
Yeah, overall, I'd say pretty good performance. Was my power numbers were so I was tracking power for the race, and even in the first 12 hours, I was down like 10% of where I wanted to, or of where I more or less expected to be based on my training, especially with the heart rate and stuff I was running at. And I mean, considering everything that was going on, not terrible.
Yeah.
But overall, I'm just kind of happy I finished. That was my main goal. So, good performance.
Got to see. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'd like to keep trying, see if I could. I'm gonna do it right next time.
Do it right next time. Yeah.
Yep, that's what we always say, right?
Well, it's interesting, you know, like you've done so much for touring. Like I have to think like there's not much that would surprise you at this stage, but like I think for you, that's probably the next fun thing is like figuring out the race side of it, you know.
Yeah, it's a different challenge.
I like being new at things, right? Like it's fun to kind of like because the learning curve is so much rapider whenever you're learning something or trying something new, and you're like, wow, this is exciting.
Yeah. Yeah, and then another lesson, 2 weeks isn't quite enough to be doing races.
Yes. So let's get you to East Texas now. To get to East Texas, you rode from Arkansas to the start, like we mentioned. I've had a number of people ask me whenever I've telling them that you did that just over the course of East Texas. It came up quite a bit. And everybody asked me what route he did. So let's put it on the internet. What route did you pick?
From Hot Springs, went through kind of like a corner of Louisiana, I guess is the easiest way of putting it. I don't remember the names of the towns.
Were you trying to hit just pavement, or were you like?
Was doing mostly pavement. I actually planned the route more around wild camping than anything else.
Okay.
Yeah. So kind of spaced out my distance, saying like I'll do 80 to 100-ish miles a day on the bike, and hopefully be in an area where I can wild camp. And that worked out really well. Was 6 days of riding, somewhere around there, and wild camped every night.
And how many miles was that?
About 450.
450 miles over 5 days.
Yeah.
So a little bit less than 100 miles a day.
Yeah. 5 or 6 days, somewhere around there.
How long?
I think that's, 6 days-ish.
How long after you finished Doom did you actually leave? I assume you maybe gave yourself a day or two to recover.
Yeah. In the 48 hours following Doom, I slept like 30 hours.
Oh my God.
So, I was pretty wiped from that. And then the first day I only rode like 4 miles outside of town and then camped again. And 3 days-ish, more or less, of rest. And then just kind of kept on moving from that. Most of it was pretty flat, so relatively easy riding.
Yeah. And trending downhill from Arkansas, but mostly flat.
Yeah, mostly flat. I don't know if the elevation change is maybe like 1,500 feet of loss or something like that.
It. Yeah, that's probably about what it is.
Yeah.
What was I going to ask you? Oh, yeah. And then you got to East Texas. Mm-hmm. You had what? 2 days there before the start of East Texas?
I actually got to Livingston. I stayed splurged on a hotel there for a few nights. Ballin'.
Ballin'.
So, whatever cheapest Motel 6, I think, was what the cheapest one I could find.
Okay.
So, stayed there a few nights, got some rest, ate a lot of food, and washed clothes, that kind of thing. And then rode over 20-something miles to Point Blank. Got there on Wednesday. I was the first person there.
Yep.
Camping out behind the field and the Bullet Grill. It was actually pretty nice. Had decent shade out there, so wasn't too bad heat-wise. And Wednesday, so Thursday, all day Thursday, more or less off. I could just rode into town to get some more food at the Dollar General or something in town. And then started the race on Friday.
So, I mean, how was your body holding up by like on race morning? How were you feeling in your body and even in your mind, like mentally? Because these challenges are tough. You know, I think they take it out on every level. So,
not good. Luckily, I was sleeping better, so I didn't feel exhausted in that way. but was definitely still sore. I do have like a little bit of tingling in the thumb and two fingers on this hand, and like the other pinky and ring finger on the other hand. And it definitely got worse from East Texas Showdown. The heat was really the biggest factor, I think, in the race, was that. And then, of course, being on the full suspension mountain bike. But overall, I think on the scale of a full suspension mountain bike, my setup was pretty close to as efficient as it could be. So did a like 15 mile per hour moving average and 3.5 hours of stops time
for the whole race. 15 mile an hour. Wow.
Well, moving average.
Yeah, moving average. Yeah.
Without stop time.
Yeah.
And that included whatever 15 minutes we had of dinking around at the neutralized start.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that bridge is
not very nice.
An interesting situation.
I rode across it coming out, and it was a little bit gross. Yeah.
You see why we have the police escort to get across the
especially with all the people there.
Oh man,
that was a good move.
What did you think about that? We did it differently this year. We just let people, because there's this bridge that's 6 miles from the start, and so we let people just like ride at their own pace to get to 6 miles. We all stopped there, and then we had a police escort to get over the start to the bridge. I don't know, how did it go in the field?
Seemed like a good setup. Pace was a little bit slow, of course, but I don't know. I was relatively near the front of the race, so I can't really complain about that.
Yeah,
how to make it so everybody can keep up.
You were off the front through the neutral. We got a lot of good shots of you. And before I
playing around,
I was reviewing all of our. I'm editing all of our stuff from ETS right now. I was going through all the stuff last night, and I came across this drone shot of you that is like one of the coolest drone shots. Nathan freaking killed it. He like follows you down the road. He gets a pan to the side and full pan in front of you, and then he like comes over you as you like go into the woods. Like, it is cinematic masterpiece. So
cool.
We got some good content of you out there.
The drone spooking me. I think I remember that.
Yeah. Zzz, what is that? Little extra added challenges out there, I guess.
No, excited to see that. That's one of the things that I think is cool about having the more organized races, is having the pictures and stuff after the race.
I think so, man. I'm all about the photos personally. Like, when I go on stuff, when I used to do my mountain bike races, like, I love getting the photos after. It's a nice keepsake, especially in a pretty place.
Definitely.
What were your goals, considering the bike you were on, considering how you felt? What were your goals going into East Texas?
I was not sure what to expect, I guess, with that, because I wasn't sure about the recovery. Would have been nice to go faster, of course. I think, I don't know, just like simple things that could change would be not having the big handlebar bag in the front, because that was acting like a little bit of a sail at the higher speeds, it felt like. But as far as goals on there, I think I was hoping to place pretty well, but once I got kind of a few hours in, it was kind of just like, I think I'm just going to have to try to finish this one too. Because power numbers were even worse than Doom.
Okay.
So, no, for the first, whatever, I don't know, do we want to go into number nerdery?
Sure,
or is that,
let's hit some numbers. I'm curious.
Okay. So for Doom, I was pushing around 2.6 watts per kilo around the first 12 hours, getting to the beginning of the Womble Trail, and then drop for normalized power, and that dropped off really heavily. I think I finished with like 2.1, 2.2 watts per kilo average. It's me just a little over 90 kilos ish. So I'd be around 240 for the first 12 hours. And then I think 195 normalized at the finish for Doom. For East Texas Showdown, I think for the whole race, I was like 208 normalized.
Okay.
And that would be, from my training numbers, that would have been like a easy recovery ride pace.
Okay, yeah.
Where I was pushing closer to 3 watts per kilo in like a low zone 2.
Yeah.
So definitely not anywhere close.
Mostly mental. I mean, sorry, not mental fatigue, but mostly physical fatigue, you think?
I think the physical fatigue, I can overshare on all my gross stories too, I guess. Yeah. The day before East Texas Showdown, I'm pretty sure I had diarrhea like 8 times.
Oh my God.
And ended up making a quick run to the gas station to buy some Imodium. Had to take max dose to keep it from coming.
Yeah.
And had to stay on that for like the first half of the race before his stomach began to settle.
Wow.
So yeah, it was pretty nasty. Heat was a big factor. I was just taking the breaks to stop and chug water, trying to eat again, having problems with eating again. Stopped and sat down to eat in Jacksonville.
Where'd you eat in Jacksonville?
Panda Express.
Oh, we talked about that beforehand. Yeah.
Panda Express. And, that really helps. I got a good sized plate there. Got some more calories in, and sat in the AC. That made a really big difference for me. I was feeling a lot better after that. And then I was also getting later in the day, so beginning to cool off.
Mm-hmm. I'm curious, what brought you to East Texas? What put that on the radar? I mean, was it a proximity thing? Hey, I might get
a lot of it was proximity. So just kind of the stacking the races, hopefully me being cheap again, cutting expenses a bit, only having to travel for fly out once as opposed to back and forth.
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely the proximity. And then just kind of wanting to get out and see how I do.
Another race?
I handle it. Yeah.
I mean, yeah. I don't think that's a fair representation of your ability because of the bike and, your heavy racing leading up to that. And then, a fairly sizable ride to the start line. So, you definitely held your own on a full suspension mountain bike in a really strong field in a year where we had a course record in almost every single category. I mean, the weather was good. The wind, you'll know,
the wind was almost perfect.
The wind was perfect. It literally blew everyone back and then, out and then blew everyone back. I mean, it was just, we're not going to get this again probably for a long time. So it was a tough year, I think, I mean, there was people who were really pushing the pace. Steven Fitzgerald was off the front early. Dennis Lockskin, Connor O'Brien, Megan Hakkinen. I mean, they were freaking cooking.
They were moving. No, I decided early on I wasn't going to chase anybody since we were a little bit lax on the no drafting thing for the first couple hours, I think.
Yeah, I would love to hear about that. And I was actually thinking about how do we break that up?
There aren't a lot of good options. It's kind of people are moving at roughly the same pace, so it's more just
I don't think anybody was trying to draft, and by the time I saw him around mile 40, it had broken up. Mm-hmm. But I know in the beginning, nobody was able to break away from each other. Yeah. And typically at that race, there's an 8 mile notoriously just horrendous mud section that comes at mile 14, so early on, and so it's always been this defining moment where it breaks up the field. But this year there was nothing to break it up, and so I'm gonna have to think that through. I thought about how are we gonna keep the front of the race honest next time.
Yeah, I was
fully honest.
I was intentionally trying not to draft, but some people were just kind of sitting in whatever.
Yeah,
there's not a whole lot you can do about it just because that early in the race people are still trying to make moves and figure out what's going on.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna keep them honest. We're gonna figure it out.
Yeah. No, I think one of the few things you have to do would be time trials started, starting people 2 minutes apart.
I was thinking that might be the best option. Yeah. Is maybe if you're doing Showdown, it's a time trial start, and then and then we'll do a grand apart for other people or something. Mm-hmm. But we got to break up that front if we're gonna have on wet years. I don't think it matters as much because of the mud and stuff. But yeah, if we're gonna have another fast year like that, I'm gonna keep y'all honest.
Yeah, it'd be a good idea.
Have you ridden in Texas before? And what did you think about riding?
A little bit, yeah, a little bit, not very much. Riding was surprisingly nice. Lots of dirt roads, really good route. I was impressed. So, yeah, worked out really well.
Favorite parts of the trip? I didn't. So you haven't got around to doing your East Texas social media posts. Assuming one might be coming, but
pictures.
Oh yeah, we got pictures coming. That epic drone shot.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
Absolutely. So what do you think your Instagram caption or post is going to say? What are your highlights or lowlights? What are some of your key takeaways from the showdown?
Oh, a lot like Doom. I finished. Yeah, highlights would definitely just be being able to race out here again. Really enjoyed the community and energy around the race. That was fun. Kind of getting there a little bit early, hanging out, talking with people was really cool. This race was different than Doom in that I was almost around people almost the entire time. Mm-hmm. And that was really interesting because I hadn't really had that in the bikepacking races before. And of course, just like going back and forth with people. Somebody's going faster one place, they stop and take a break, catch up to them, see them somewhere
like around
else.
People all the time.
Yeah. So yeah, that was definitely one of the highlights. Riding was nice.
So do you like being around people? Like it gives you like a carrot to chase, or
it's a little bit more motivation.
Yeah.
It was also interesting overlapping with the slow downers and stuff.
Right.
And then wondering why I was blowing by them. I'm like, those guys aren't quite moving very fast. Like, it's the other race.
Yeah. You see they're carrying 2 or 3 times the amount of stuff as you are.
That's a lot of stuff. No
fishing poles and the one lowdown this year we had a lot of people with fishing poles, which I thought was just so cool. Cool. Stopping a long way and catching fish.
Yeah, but I really enjoyed the energy and stuff around the races. A little more organized bikepacking races are nice that way.
Yeah, that's kind of the fun part is you get to, especially,
Gotta get Patrick on his megaphone in all the races.
Oh yeah, I'll yell at you for sure.
Got the hoedown. That was exciting.
Yeah. I mean, that was kind of the whole idea with the showdown. I mean, that was one of the components that I thought was core, was the community celebration aspect and having a home base where we're all there and we can all hang out and talk bikes, because we're all going to go back in our normal worlds except for you. And you're going to go into your office and you'll be like, oh, I rode 400 miles this weekend. They're like, what? But when you're at these races, you can you are with your people, and so it's always exciting.
Yeah.
You mentioned the dogs. Yeah. Let's put the dogs out there, because this is always a fun conversation. How were they for you?
I didn't have too many of them chasing me. And then most of them were just kind of play chasing, not like aggressive chasing.
Right.
Or they'll run alongside you and bark and stuff rather than trying to nip at you or something.
Right.
So.
Yeah. Most of them aren't, they're just protective of the area, and and some of them are just playing with you,
having a good time.
Yeah. I have to assume you're pretty used to dealing with dogs and all kinds of stuff from touring. So nothing new there. Yeah.
Usually have a good idea of whether they're being aggressive or not, just with the way they're acting and running.
Okay, so what is your tip for when you run into a real aggressive dog? How do you manage that situation?
That's hard. The worst ones I've seen are like the Alsatians and stuff in Eastern Turkey and Central Asia. It's like the really, really big sheepdogs are pretty much the size of wolves, like 200, 250 pounds maybe. And they usually have the tails are docked. They have the ears cut off half the time just because they are actually defending the sheep that flocks against wolves and bears. And it's something else. They have these big spiked nail collars with nails and stuff on them. So
they're functional.
Wolves and bears can't
get their jugular.
Can't bite them.
Yeah.
Those ones are scary and very territorial. I had one instance in Eastern Turkey where I actually had 2 of them chasing me, and one was actually trying to bite me at one side, and one was zigzagging in front of me, trying to make me crash. So they're pretty smart.
They're working in tandem.
Yeah, I was carrying a combination traffic stick, dog stick, basically a stick on the back of my bike that sticks out maybe a foot past my handlebars to encourage the cars to pass a little bit wider. That's usually pretty effective. And it was easy enough access. Could use it as defense against the really mean dogs.
Yeah.
They didn't care.
They didn't care. We've had worse. We've been attacked by wolves.
Are you petting me or something? I try to get them with whatever little stick I had.
Speaking of dogs, there goes one right there. We heard him talking. All right, man. Well, I got to go pick up my kid.
Yeah.
I guess that means podcast over, but
Sounds good.
I appreciate you coming on. It was fun that you just happened to be coming to my hometown, and
thanks for having me.
yeah, we got to ride Doom together, and then you came out to my event. So I appreciate you coming out. It's always, man, I just always
do
appreciate
the personal plug real quick.
Yeah.
Yeah. So should be posting on Instagram for upcoming stuff. Handle is the little jab at the bike touring backpacking thing, occasional _bikepacker.
Yeah, occasional bikepacker.
Yeah, not always bikepacking. Sometimes I'm bike touring. And then I'm probably going to end up writing on Substack, writing a blog on Substack. That will be also linked through Instagram. And I've published one book.
Oh, you have?
Yeah.
Oh, we didn't even talk about that. But what is your book? So, and I everything. We'll put all your stuff in the show notes too, so people can find you.
That one covers my first year and a bit cycling through the Americas.
Ooh,
until the road ends. Available on Amazon, self-published. That was easy and didn't have to deal with publishers. And written by me, Jacob Ashton.
And did you do an audio version as well? Or?
Don't have an audio version.
Okay,
no, I haven't put the effort into that.
Yeah.
That would require me to read the book again. I don't think I want to do that.
Fair enough. Well, I do want to read that one. That's right up my alley, man. I'll check it out.
Kindle Unlimited too, if you have that.
Right on. Well, thanks for coming on, Jacob. Anything else?
Thanks for having me. I think that's it.
All right.
Nice talking to you. Hopefully we can get together again sometime.
Yeah, let's go ride bikes again one day, eh?
All right.
All right. Podcast over.
Cool.
Cheers.
Cheers.
All right, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning into today's episode. To learn more about Jacob Ashton, check out all of his socials, a link to his book, and a link to all of his world tour write-ups in the show notes. And a quick reminder, if you're going to be at Sea Otter this weekend, don't forget to check out the Old Man Mountain bikepacking campout and after party. I'm going to be there, and I would love to hang out with you. And if you're looking for more opportunities to come hang out and ride bikes with me, I will be leading the Ride Your Damn Bike Fest Bikepacking Campout Community Overnighter happening May 22nd through the 24th. A link to registration is in the bio, as is a coupon code for 20% off. And I hope to see you there. If you appreciated this episode, consider signing up to support this podcast over at patreon.com/bikes-or-death. All right, I think that's it. We hit all the high points. Thank you so much for being here. It is always a pleasure. Until next time, you know what to do. Go ride your damn bike.
It was the middle of the night. You grabbed your knife and you held it tight. The sounds of beasts kept you awake. The sounds they made kept you afraid. In the morning, you packed your bike. Memories forgotten from the previous night. You rode faster than ever before. Was it your imagination or merely folklore? Fear turned into strength as you pushed further. Every pedal stroke, stronger and firmer. Your bike feels weightless, your legs aren't tired. You think to yourself, just a few more miles. Bikes, or death. Bikes, or death.